Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Tessie Omeri. Let's begin with the headlines. Revival of cocoa industry. Federal government plans improvement of value chain.
We don't want to be producers of cocoa. We want to be processors of cocoa.
Scientists advocate investment in conservation of plant genetics to strengthen food and nutrition security. House of Representatives launches investigation into petrol charge for road maintenance. And human rights activist backs President Tinubu's transformation policies, says government correcting inherited woes.
People enrich themselves, destroy the economy, and today they had the shameless boldness to face a nation and talk to them about poverty.
Now, details will begin on agriculture. The federal government is committed to reviving the cocoa industry and the whole agricultural value chain in Nigeria, with a target of moving the sector from mere producer to processor of cocoa on the global stage. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this during an audience with a delegation from the World Cocoa Foundation, led by its president Chris Vincent, at the Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jubrila has more.
Revamping the nation's cocoa industry by the Tinubu administration is getting more support with the recent Federal Executive Council approval for the establishment of a National Cocoa Management Board. This meeting is part of broader initiatives to ensure that Nigeria moves from producer to a processor of cocoa by promoting sustainable cocoa farming and forest preservation.
We don't want to be producers of cocoa. We want to be processors of cocoa. Because a ton of cocoa might pay you $9,000 now, but processed cocoa will pay you $30,000. If you turn them into chocolate bars, that product, that 1 ton, might pay you $50,000. So we have the manpower. The average age of the nation is 17. We are very virile young men that are willing to work and are itching for opportunities. So I'm speaking from the heart. We are willing to partner with you, with your organization.
The Vice President pledged Nigeria's readiness to work with the World Cocoa Foundation, assuring that he will personally engage the governor of Taraba State to secure 10,000 hectares in Kurmi local government area of the state for the World Cocoa Foundation and other partners to expand their investment in the nation's cocoa industry.
They assisted Ivory Coast to be the #1 producer in the world. So that keys directly into the vision, the bold vision of Mr. President to transform the cocoa sector, to double or triple our production, to get us to where we were before and even move us further. And we cannot do it alone. We cannot do it in isolation. We will only do it through partnership, and this is the right entity to partner with.
We look forward to working together as we build out plans for the deforestation-free cocoa initiatives in Ondo and Cross River State, and also looking to the implementation of the National Cocoa Management Board and developing ways in which the sector can continue to grow in line with sustainable policies.
Meanwhile, Nigeria is actively pursuing a massive $25 billion undersea gas pipeline project to supply gas to Europe. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated this during a meeting with the Vitol Group, the world's largest independent commodity trader, at the Presidential Villa. saying Nigeria's leadership transformation under President Tinubu represents an unprecedented opportunity for international investors. Vice President Shettima described Nigeria's gas sector as a beacon of stability and transparency amid global uncertainty. The Vice President urged Vitol to bring its considerable technical expertise and global influence to bear in advancing Nigeria's gas infrastructure and exports. Chief Financial Officer of Vitol Group, Jeffrey Delepina, said the Vitol has a long-term commitment to Nigeria, as the company is currently enjoying a favorable business relationship with Nigerian companies and the government. From the State House, Abraman Jibrila, NTA News.
Federal government through Regional Development Ministry says it will sustain its robust partnership with the Northeast governors to reposition the region to become a beacon of recovery, resilience and prosperity. Minister of State for Regional Development, Uba Megari Amadou, made this commitment when he presided over the inauguration and handing over of some projects executed by the Northeast Development Commission in Yobe State. Yunusa Suleiman has more.
Since its inception, the Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, has been actively intervening in critical areas to accelerate the sub-region's recovery. To build on these efforts, the Minister of State for Regional Development, accompanied by senior officials of the Commission, visited Yobe State, where he unveiled several transformative projects proposed for execution by the Commission, aimed to boost the economic growth and development of the sub-region.
I must commend the forward-looking vision of the NEDC management in planning and pursuing bold transformative development projects, such as the proposed Northeast Regional Airline.
As part of our empowerment for youth and women, we have built or established 18 ICT centers across Northeast, and you will have 3.
What you have mentioned also is the various empowerment packages we provided in the areas of irrigation, tailoring, painting, handset repairs, animal husbandry, among others.
During his visit, the minister presided over the inauguration of the NEDC State Office, designed to provide a conducive working environment for the personnel of the Commission. Additionally, he inaugurated and handed over several facilities, including an ICT resource center, a solar-powered borehole to enhance water supply, and a 250-seater lecture theater at Yobe State University, aimed at facilitating teaching and learning. The Minister of State for Regional Development, flanked by the NEDC Managing Director, also inspected the ongoing construction of a 450-capacity multipurpose hall at the Government Girls Unity College Damaturu, as well as handed over building materials to the state officials for distribution to flood victims across the state. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Nigeria is set to close the milk production gap by unlocking the vast potential of its dairy value chain. The country aims to produce an additional 1.2 billion liters of milk annually over the next 5 years. Currently, Nigeria produces about 600 million liters of milk per year. However, key stakeholders are pushing a new narrative, one that seeks to transform the dairy sector into a more productive, resilient and inclusive industry. At a dairy conference held in Abuja, the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Maiha, emphasized that the efforts to strengthen the sector are collective, frame the building blocks for national development.
In the not-distant future, we are not threatening any global player. The sky is big. We will not clash. We just want to take our rightful position. Our goal is ambitious, but achievable. To double Nigeria's milk production from 600,000 metric tons to 1.2 million metric tons in the next 5 years.
And they have really demonstrated strong commitment to local sourcing, capacity building and dairy infrastructure. So the EU is collaborating with them and the broader ecosystem to deepen their engagement by developing more sustainable growth pathways.
The event also featured exhibitions by key players across the dairy value chain, showcasing innovations, products and initiatives aimed at boosting local milk production and processing. And from agriculture, let's talk housing. The federal government has unveiled plans through public-private partnership to ease mortgage terms for federal civil servants in Nigeria under the Murphy Real Estate Investment Fund. This came to the fore at the signing of an agreement in Abuja.
For many Nigerians, owning a home feels like chasing a mirage, as commercial mortgages often come with high interest rates and developers struggle to secure financing to build affordable houses. This is what the Murphy Real Estate Investment Fund, MREF, is trying to change by pulling in partners to ensure there is enough money to fund mortgages with low rates.
Today marks a very significant agreement, which is the coming together, a partnership between MREF and the Family Homes Funds to bring funds that allow us to be able to on-lend to Nigerians, and they can get mortgages at single digits, that's below 10%.
We're starting the project with a pilot in principal key areas of the country. We hope that this will be a proof of the concept.
We managed to raise 250 billion, coming partly from Minister of Finance and partly from the private sector. So we as fund manager, we are managing the fund.
For now, the MOU is a bold step, but the proof will be in how many families move into homes they can call their own without breaking the bank. In Abuja, Naika Oku, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has launched an investigation into alleged non-remittance and implementation of the 5% user charge on petroleum products for road maintenance, as contained in the Federal Road Maintenance Agency Amendment Act 2007. At the inauguration of an ad hoc committee investigating the levy, the House insists it will get to the root of the matter. National Assembly correspondent Mitare Ikpen reports on these and other engagements in Parliament.
Section 14 of the FEMA Amendment Act 2007 mandates the allocation of 5% user charge from petrol and diesel pump prices to the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency and the state maintenance agencies in the proportion of 40% and 60% respectively. Non-compliance with this provision by relevant agencies led the House to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate remittance of the levy. Minister of State for Works, Bello Goronyo, says revenue shortfall has worsened road conditions and increased maintenance costs nationwide.
While the agency requires an estimated amount of 880 billion naira annually to maintain our 36,000 kilometers of roads, diligent implementation and timely remittance of the 5% user charge are paramount.
This law and every law made for our country will be obeyed.
Ask the relevant questions and scan through the necessary documents to establish how much has accrued from the collection of the 5% user charge from the date of commencement of the law till the time of this investigation.
The templates were not included in the pricing template that's being used, and authority has not collected any money on it.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has given the National Office of the West African Examination Council 24 hours to submit a detailed report on the glitches that led to late-night conduct of its English language examination recently. During an investigative hearing, WAEC officials attributed the glitches in some parts of the country to leakage of examination questions.
Sincere, deep-rooted apologies for what happened in the conduct of English language examination.
Monies were appropriated by Parliament for the conduct of this examination. We need to know the immediate and remote causes of the woeful conduct of the examinations.
WAEC also admitted that the late-night conduct of the English language examination only occurred in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Time now for a break. We have more reports when we return. Do stay with us.
I am pleased to announce encouraging news from the National Bureau of Statistics, which released the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, for April 2025 only yesterday. According to the report, the headline inflation rate for April stood at 23.71%, This represents a decrease of 0.52% from the 24.23% recorded in March 2025. Similarly, month-on-month inflation dropped by a notable 2.04% from 3.90% in March to 1.86% in April. This, of course, did not just happen by chance. The President is focused and is determined, and his determination and his interventions are clearly paying off. The benefits of reform, though gradual, are real and measurable.
Many thanks for staying tuned. And from the ECOWAS sub-region, the 2025 first ordinary session of its parliament has ended in Abuja with a call for regional peace, security and people-driven development. At the closing session, President of the ECOWAS Commission, Omar Aliu Torre, presented the annual midterm report on the state of the community to the House of Parliament. Muhammad Rabiu Ali Hasmo.
2 weeks of debate now is over, with hopeful resolutions for better West Africa.
De la présente session, pour vous réitérer ma sincère gratitude pour la confiance.
Despite challenges believed to be facing the ECOWAS community, characterized by political upheavals in 3 member states as well as a slowdown in global economy, the region is witnessing economic growth.
The growth will be driven mainly by the 4 largest economies, namely Senegal 6.5%, Ghana 4.0%, Nigeria, and Cote d'Ivoire. Inflationary pressures in ECOWAS is expected to ease slightly in 2025 to 19.7%, compared to 24.8% in 2024.
Other key areas in the year under review include the restoration of democratic transition in Guinea, operationalization of ECOWAS standby force to fight terrorism, single currency program, and promotion of common market and private sector development in the region.
Our people want a safe and secure environment, not with the Boko Harams and the bandits and Iswap from the Sahel.
We have been told that countries do not fully respect their commitment to pay the community levies.
The state legislature amended its rules of procedures to adapt to current realities and improve transparency in decision-making process. In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And governments, the United Nations and other stakeholders are in Geneva to share knowledge and trends in disaster risk management. Mina Daniels is in Geneva, Switzerland, and brings us insight on the 8th Global Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction.
Your observation is spot on, because indeed stakeholders are already on ground here at the Geneva International Conference Center to begin identifying gaps in the implementation of the Sendai framework for disaster risk reduction. A multi-level conversation by critical stakeholders, including head of the UNDRR. We provide partners the opportunity to network and exchange knowledge on the implementation of the Sendai framework 2015 to 2030.
Access to early warning has improved, but on other targets like reducing the number of people affected, which means fewer houses destroyed, fewer livelihoods lost, we have not done well. Reducing economic losses, we have not done well. Reducing infrastructure losses, we have not done well. So how do we use the remaining 5 years to infuse a sense of urgency into achieving these? I think the Sendai targets are within reach. We should really do everything we can in these 5 years to achieve these targets.
Meanwhile, the World Resilience and Recovery Conference is slated to provide priority actions to strengthen disaster resilience globally. But of course, the NTA is on ground and will continue to keep you up to speed with proceedings at the global platform. In Geneva, Switzerland, Minna Daniels, NTA News.
Many thanks, Mina. And coming back home, in a bold step towards strengthening food and nutrition security, scientists and biotechnologists in Nigeria are urging for robust policy backing and sustained investment in the conservation of plant genetic resources. At the heart of these movement is the Seed for Resilience project, spearheaded by the Center for Genetic Resources and Biotechnology, NIGRAB. Justin Bemuyi reports that the center held an advocacy workshop to reshape the future of agriculture in Nigeria.
From tiny seeds to resilient harvests, it all begins here. Nigeria's food and agriculture sector is leaning on a quiet but critical pillar: crop gene banks. A scientific vault that preserves the essence of agricultural biodiversity. These gene banks are lifelines, storing thousands of crop samples as seeds, tissues, or living plants. At the Center for Genetic Resources and Biotechnology, experts are on a mission to conserve and share genetic wealth, ensuring food security today and tomorrow.
Gene banks such as NIGRAB are really essential in the work that they do for the conservation and utilization of the diversity of the crops that we have in Nigeria.
At a high-level advocacy workshop in Abuja, stakeholders gathered to sound the alarm and offer solutions. The theme is Plant Genetic Resources Conservation and Use, a critical pathway to food and nutrition security in Nigeria.
Seed for Resilience is a project by Global Crop Diversity Trust, which in their own magnanimity decided to choose from African countries national gene bank to strengthen them.
A centerpiece of the discussion was the impact of the Seeds for Resilience project, implemented through Crop Trust. Over the past 5 years, this initiative has strengthened Nigeria's ability to manage its plant genetic diversity. But experts warn more needs to be done.
We must also acknowledge the challenges that exist, such as resource allocation, technological demands, and the balance between short-term needs and the long-term benefits.
It is equally important to remind ourselves of our duty to protect these resources for future generations.
And for the people in the business of plant breeding, genetics, and food production. Therefore, all hands must be on deck.
And going forward, stakeholders hope to build stronger collaboration, sustain the gains of the Seeds for Resilience project, and embed genetic conservation in the core of national agricultural policy. Because in every seed lies the story of survival and the future of Nigeria's food. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
A human rights activist and former senator representing Kaduna Central, Shehu Sani, says President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is on the right path to addressing the numerous challenges inherited from previous administrations, urging Nigerians to disregard recent criticisms from a coalition of politicians accusing the government of worsening poverty in the country. Muhammad Umar Ajengi has more.
Worried by what he called a false accusations from a group of politicians, Comrade Shehu Sani stepped out to set the record straight.
People enrich themselves, destroy the economy, and today they had the shameless boldness to face a nation and talk to them about poverty. The North has benefited better under President Tinubu.
He says the politicians should apologize to Nigerians for their failures while in power, instead of criticizing the president who is working hard.